It's easier to teach them then.
Right?
Yeah.
So you agree that in order to get somebody to do a good job for you, you have to actually know the job.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Let's talk about that for a
Yes.
second.
Yes.
Let's talk about that for a second. And before we talk, I'm just going to introduce. I don't do introductions.
Okay.
I don't know what to say.
Mm.
Maybe I'll think about it later and then put it in the podcast. But this is Waqar Rahim.
That's enough.
Welcome to the show. You've started doing. I watched 2 of your podcasts. I love it. As I was watching, I was driving and I was watching, and I thought this is exactly how a podcast should be done.
No, thank you.
Exactly. The things that you were saying, you spoke about UAE being what it is and what opportunities there, what are people missing out on, all of that. And I was like, yeah. This is exactly it. And I'm like, this is what I want to hear. I don't want to sit in a podcast where I ask you, so why is Dubai so popular for tourists?
Come on, man.
And it's like, I don't want to ask a question that I already know an answer to. I already know an answer, but I'm going for is a 45-second reel. So to get that 45-second reel, I'm going to go for that answer that you can give me like a 45-second answer, and that's it.
Yeah.
No, I don't like that. It just feels contrived. What I want to do is, I want to know, why did you choose to do the podcast in Urdu?
Nobody's doing it. There's
Okay.
such a big audience right over there who, first of all, people like to buy from people they like.
Right.
And when it comes to likability, there are some very basic rules for it, right? You got to look like them, you got to
Yeah.
talk like them,
Yeah.
and you need to have the same ideas and values as them.
Yeah.
That's the basic of it. And a very intense version of it would go further after that.
Yeah.
So talking in Urdu, not only, I was just targeting people who speak Urdu, like who understand the dialect of it. But to my surprise, man, people approach me from all over the world. Like people approach me from Bangladesh, India, right? Pakistan itself as well. It was amazing, the response of it. But the whole idea was that when they hear someone talking the way I talk in Urdu, they feel the pain. And if you have seen those videos that I've did in Urdu, I'm talking about the pain and the joy of the real estate. We can't ignore the other side of it as well.
So as I was listening to it in Urdu, the podcast in Urdu, I was like, Pakistanis speak a certain way. Pakistani Urdu is different from when Indians speak. It's just different, right? The words we use. And I was thinking, is his audience / clients, is that Pakistani? Is he thinking that his Pakistani style of speaking will appeal to, and from what I see, what I hear, a large part of the buyer market right now is Indian buyers, Indian high net worth individuals, Indian people who live in other countries outside of India. So as I was watching it, I was thinking, it's interesting. I'm keen to know what you were thinking, or were you just like, I just want to speak in my language and that's it, and I'll get my tribe to pay attention. What was going on in your head?
I am a very firm believer in selling yourself concept. Right. So I know that in order to do any kind of business, especially when it comes to services, you have to sell yourself. Forget about the product. That's how it works, right? And when it comes to selling yourself, I've had a lot of experience with people who come to me from my part of the world who speak my language, right? Pakistan. And at the same time, we speak in English.
Right.
I want to connect with people on a level where my words become their subconscious thoughts. Like when they think about a certain issue, for example, that what I'm talking about, or an idea or an opportunity, it naturally comes in their subconscious. Because we all think, I'm from Pakistan, my subconscious thoughts are in Urdu. Trust me, right? My dreams are in Urdu as well. Depends what kind of a dream I'm having and with whom, but my natural
we'll
thought...
talk about this when camera... Or I won't talk about it. Fuck you.
Too late. So I want to become their subconscious thoughts. I want to become that answer in their mind whenever they have something, and they know like, okay, if my voice is playing in their head at that time, guess who are they going to call when they need anything, or whose videos are they going to pull up when they want answers?
Yeah.
That's what the whole idea is.
Wow. Wow, I really like that. Do you think you'll communicate those thoughts? Those thoughts will be better received when you communicate them in Urdu, or
Well,
I'm very curious. This is not you understand that this is not a criticism.
No, not at all.
This is coming out of curiosity. I'm
No,
like, it's
yeah.
so interesting. It's so interesting that in a market that's full, where people are coming forward and trying to communicate a lot, this is kind of a different angle where you're just comfortable talking the way you talk and trying to find your tribe through that. It's fascinating for me.
You wouldn't believe, like, it's a struggle for me to speak in Urdu because I'm a
Really?
believer. Yeah, I'm a believer that when you pick up a language and you start talking in it, throughout you have to use the same language in communicating everything. When I'm talking in Urdu, I have to use a lot of English words
Of course.
to express myself, like what the idea or the thought is behind. And it just pisses me off royally. Though the reason that I'm talking in Urdu is such a simple way of communicating with people. It's not about if they would be well received or not, or if it's better communicated. It's just simple.
I don't care about well received. I care about received. Like people understand.
It should
like
go
I
in
received
their
it.
subconscious.
I don't
That's
think
it.
it's just because it's a Pakistani connection, but I received it. I received it. Okay, well. So what's been the response? What?
Well, the response so far, honestly speaking, we just started with it.
Yeah.
And the idea is to do a couple of podcasts with different angles. And the one that I'm doing right now in Urdu is more of on the level where people get to know about Dubai and Dubai real estate scene on a very basic level, right? And
Your podcast wasn't basic at all. It was fairly advanced.
well, yes, it gives you the ideas about it, right? So you start from there, you understand what it is, or what the whole scene of Dubai real estate is, and you will, like, as you said, there is a bit advanced as well. So there are a lot of things that I'm talking about over there that people won't be able to relate as of now. But eventually, if I encourage them with the help of these videos to start doing it, eventually they will need those answers as well that I'm talking about. So they can go back and watch it again and understand what's going on. But the whole idea is just simple, like sell yourself in a way that they can't forget.
So what's keeping you up at night these days? Don't say nothing, because come on. My question means, okay, who are you having more conversations with, property buyers or property sellers these days?
Buyers.
Just because there's just more buyers, because it's
That's
a
it.
seller's market.
Well, where are the sellers, man?
It's more challenging speaking to buyers these days, or is it more challenging speaking to sellers?
Well, honestly speaking, I've been doing this for so long. I don't want to sound like an arrogant ass who
Please
says that
do.
nothing is challenging, but talking to the buyers, depending upon which part of the world they're coming from, that's what the challenge is. Like right now, I'm working very intensively with the Israeli market, right?
Okay.
Right, which is not only Israelis in Israel, but I'm talking about the Jewish market all over.
Right.
Man, this breed is different. So if I'm talking about challenging, the way they have the perception that they have, right, and the level of scrutiny they want to go through, they put through you. First of all, like all the way, and then the products that you're offering is quite challenging.
Why do you think that is? Why is the Jewish community? I mean, I understand that in generic terms, yes, they're more business minded, and what is it? How are they more business minded than an Irish person or an English person? What sets them apart?
I tell you this, I was actually not thinking about it. That what is the reason behind it? But a good friend of mine. She told me this, right? That listen, us, we Jews, we are the way we are for two reasons.
And have been for centuries and centuries.
Yeah, and they said that I don't know if her thought goes all the way that back, but considering that what she was trying to tell me in the present sense is that we are always afraid that someone is trying to fuck us over, try to kill us, literally. Right?
I think that's everyone.
Baba. Yeah, maybe, but they have like a very specific understanding of it, that they're really afraid of all of these things. So she said that we are always afraid that someone is trying to fuck us over, meaning literally kill us. Okay, that's number one. And number two, am I making the most money out of this situation or not? Because if I don't have the feeling, the satisfaction that I made the most money out of the situation, especially when buying. When you're selling, it's easier to come to that realization, yes, I made the best money out of it. When you're buying, we'll talk about that if you want to later on, that how do you make money when you buy. And if they don't get the satisfaction while they bank that they got the best deal, they're never going to buy. And for that, they go through a lot of trouble to make sure that they're doing the best deal. But we always have people who are always concerned about these things. Take us the Indian and Pakistani community; they're always looking for a good bargain as well. But when it's combined with a person's mentality that for them everything is in a way that they want, that the other person wants to kill them, like literally take away their life, and they're thinking from that angle, it's intense.
Do you think it's a good business? Like, do you think you'd be able to adopt that approach when doing business? That it's do or die kind of a thing.
For me to be that kind of a buyer, you mean? Or to me...
Or business operator.
Honestly speaking, I think it's a bit overdue. I don't want to go that far. The whole idea of sticking to one industry and working the way I've worked for past 16 years, right? I never washed cars, I never worked at McDonald's or be a call center operator or anything. I have zero qualification, right? I have done real estate throughout my life, nothing else, right? And the whole idea of sticking around for that long is just to make sure that I become an expert at it so that things become easier. And so, no, I don't want to be that intense with these things.
Let's stick to the Jewish community. What are they interested in terms of
honestly speaking,
locations in Dubai and...
I was so surprised.
Israeli community, let's call them Israeli community. What are they... because you know that Russians are interested in the Palm... beachfront property, whatever, not Bay Square, sorry, Emma beachfront, those kind of things. So what are Israelis interested in?
Right now, they are surprisingly looking for small ticket sizes. Whoever is coming in who has a big fund as well, even, because I have been in touch with those kind of people right now, what they talk about is that let's start small, like the smallest thing, right?
International city small?
Yeah, international city small.
Okay.
JVC small, IMPZ small,
Okay.
Lago Vista small, right? That kind of small. And they want to start over there just to see how the market is. As I said, the fear is so high that even with all the money and understanding the way market is working with, I don't know, what's the right number? 190 nationalities or 200 nationalities? Like, I don't have any official number on that.
I have no idea.
Man, it's like everybody keeps on using it. I don't know. Can I convey the same or not? But anyways, with the multiple, so generous number of nationalities that are working over here, and knowing how Dubai has formed, like everything that is over here was a bloody off-plan one day. Don't argue with me. This is off-plan better, already property better. Everything was off-plan. Everything was sold when it was a PDF brochure. Okay, and so for them to understand, like, off-plan, you don't know if it's gonna be completed or not. Better to stick with the ready one because it's reality, and go in with that. And on top of it, go for the smallest unit possible. So yes, there are some rollers that come in, right? The ballers, they come in from that community. It's like, yeah, okay, let's go big. But they're only coming in because they have someone who has already done it. A fresh guy, a fresh fund, a fresh company who wants to do it for the first time is not going there yet.
Are there many fresh first-time buyers, first-time investors coming out of that part of the world?
Absolutely, yes. A lot. I'm going to meet someone just after this who is flown in from Miami. I never had American buyers, literally never.
Yeah.
Like maybe if they did, some Pakistani dude or Indian dude with an American passport was a different thing, right? But having Americans out of there is something new, especially from that community.
Okay, so they're interested in the low ticket sizes. So what are you saying to them about? Because selling off-plan means you're selling the concept of Dubai in general, the vision, the 2040 vision, all this structural solidification that has happened. That's what you're selling. You're not just selling that property. You're selling that, hey, this property will go because of all of that, because of the vision, because of the plan, because of the future, bright future. You're making the right investment. Now, what is it about it? Like and there's like a million things that are going well for Dubai. If you look, if you read, if you speak to people, what is it that they don't understand?
For me, when I'm selling to these people, right, I never, unless they come up with a certain question that where the future is, I talk about the future. Otherwise, I'm just talking to the point, what it is right now. Okay. Where was it? Where is it right now? Okay. And if it's sustainable or not. For example, there's a property that we're buying today, a ready one, right? And that is creating, let's say, 12% rental return. My formulas are super simple. I talk about 5%. That's what Dubai is. Okay. Right. You buy anything, it's supposed to make 5% rental return, regardless what is the ticket value, regardless where it is, how it is, what condition it is. It should come up, it should match with 5%. And
you take the minimum approach, minimum 5%.
That's the real. There's no minimum. Minimum could be way less than that. That's in my books. Dubai is 5%. Okay, this is how I evaluate properties as well. So you come up to me with a random property, okay, that I've never seen, don't even know the name of the building where it is, right? I do my maths as per that. I know Dubai market is not location oriented, it's revenue oriented. How much revenue that property is creating sets the property price. This is what my
But
my
doesn't
system
the
says.
location make an impact on how much?
Well, honestly speaking, let's take it this way. Let's go Dubai Marina right now, okay? We got Ocean Heights, we got Emirates Crown. That's strip I'm talking about, okay?
I got to what you're saying, but for the 70,000 people that are watching,
yeah, okay. So let's say that you are at the beachfront. Yeah, Dubai Marina is a place that is exactly in front of the ocean, and you have a couple of properties right in front of them. High-rise buildings. There's part of Dubai Marina towards the end of it, or towards the beginning of it, towards more of a Burj Al Arab side, that is called the skyscraper block. Yeah, and over there you have all of those buildings, somewhere around 70 floors or higher. The construction status of that area is somewhere around, let's say, 8 to 15 years old, meaning there is a building as young as 8 years old or as old as 15 years old. And all of them, let's assume that they are on the same strip. And the sizes of those buildings between that era, for example, take a one-bedroom apartment, is more or less the same, which we're talking about nothing less than 700 square feet all the way to 1100 square feet, nothing more than that. Now, these apartment sizes are almost the same, have the same view as well. All of them are skyscrapers, so meaning they are all high floors, right? Let's assume both of the buildings are one-bedroom apartment facing towards the ocean. Absolutely. On the same street, ocean, same view, okay? And more or less same age as well. The construction was not as fancy or as dynamic as it is today. So, a bit here less, a bit there more, maybe a better bathroom, but the other one has a better kitchen. So you can't distinguish much. One of the properties is renting for 80,000 dirhams a year, and the other 125,000 dirhams a year. Now, that begs the question, like, why? Why is that happening? The answer to this why is only easily understandable to those people who have been in Dubai for a while to understand what happens really when a building gets handed over, okay? What kind of management comes in? What kind of facility management comes in? How do they navigate? Because regardless if it's a fancy building, super expensive, or a cheap one, B-grade building, it's all up to the building management, the facility management. How easy or how difficult or how do they structure the move-in permissions for people who are going to move in there? Parkings. Like, for example, I move in and I sign a contract with the owner who's living in Angola. Mr. Angola doesn't care as long as he's getting his rental return on it, right? And I take the apartment, a nice one-bedroom apartment, put up walls over there, turn into a partition. What's going to happen to the rest of the building? It starts with one apartment and then it follows through. Imagine that the building management makes it super easy for any broker to walk into the building with zero permissions and try to rent. What kind of caliber of broker will you be attracting towards the building, and what kind of tenants will they bring in just for the sake of their commissions? This is something very, very important, very sensitive as well. And people don't think about it, but it starts from there. Take any example of the building. If you go to the route like why this building is cheaper compared to the next one to it, you will understand that the type of crowd that lives over there makes it cheaper. And the type of crowd lives over there, the other building, makes it more expensive. And the reason that you have a better crowd in one compared to the other one is all dependent upon the facility management and the reception, basically. That's how you change it. So
Love it. I
considering
never
that,
thought of it like that.
yeah. So considering that, it all depends like how much rental is it making. People won't pay you top dirham for a building that is as such which is overpopulated because it has sharing in it, or on a very, which is very rare now, because I don't know of any building in a good decent location where the building has flaws in it, like air conditioned lobby issues, smell issues, elevator issues, and they're still there. They have resolved. I don't know of any good decent area. I don't want to name buildings, honestly speaking, but I'm pretty sure you have a couple of buildings in your mind when I talk to you about these things, you know, in Dubai Marina, in JLT, in downtown business, right? But I don't know if there are any of those buildings left. But there is still if you talk to people who have been doing business for a while, they were like, when you say that name of the building, for example, building A, right? They're like, oh, no, man. But they haven't revisited the building in maybe 2 years' time. You go there like, whoa, hello, excuse me, this building is completely changed now. So, but anyways, my way of calculating the price is see how much revenue it is generating. And simple maths, it should do 5% of it. So if it's making 50,000 dirhams of rental return, the property is worth 1 million dirham. Regardless if it's even making 100,000 dirhams today, okay? I communicate this to my customers, like my clients, the people that I'm talking to, or advisors, or my audience, saying that, guys, listen, yes, it's looking super, super sweet right now, but reality is this. This is sustainable. Regardless the market goes up, down, you are very safe over here. Maybe a 10-20% less or 10-20% more, enjoy that. The 10-20% more is going to help you in the coming years when it goes 10-20% lower. But this is it. Don't get too excited about it.
The capital appreciation.
Rental return and capital appreciation, both ways. For me, capital appreciation, if you allow me 2 minutes to talk about the capital appreciation, right? You know,
I'll allow you 37 minutes.
Okay, good. We need to understand when we're communicating about capital appreciation, right? What tense are we talking about? Capital appreciation, talking about it right now when we're signing a paper to buy the property, is a future tense. Whatever profit or loss we are talking about that we could face is an unrealized profit or loss. Okay? Mm-hmm. You will only book that profit or loss once you sell the property. Right? My formula says very clearly, Asad, you're buying the property today with me. Today is the final day. You're going to sign the documents, okay? Let's say that you're buying something ready. Let's assume. Just to make it easier for everybody to understand. I'm going to ask you two things. Asad, tell me today, you bought the property. Eventually, you will sell it, okay? Let's hope that you will sell, not your inheritors, okay? You are selling it. Tell me, I give you two options, and there are only two options in life with this thing, okay? Tell me a selling price that you would sell at in the future, or tell me a date. But make sure you give me one answer and stick to it. Let's say that you bought the property for 1 million dirhams. You said, Waqar, I'll sell it for 2 million dirhams. Then it doesn't matter when. Even if it happens overnight, maybe tomorrow, the property hits 2 million. Okay? 2 million exact. You're not going to go, no. Done. Sold. Or you say that I'm going to sell the property 15th of December 2027. Then 15th of December comes in, you don't care what the property, you bought it for 1 million dirhams, 500,000 dirham, you're selling it. Because I've seen that it may not make much sense right now, but there's a lot of thought behind it. I have seen the recession that it was, the big crash, right? And I've seen that people who lost the most from then till now are those people who did not have a clear plan, who did not know what are they going to do for it. Initial thought is just to park the money and that's it. Perhaps make some rental return on it. So if you have a date in mind when you're going to sell it, that means that you have incorporated how much rental you have already made. The average return on investment, for example, through rental is somewhere around 8 to 10 years in Dubai. You get the money back, right? So if you have a date in mind, let's say halfway through, that you know that you have recovered 50% of it, right? And then, of course, dirham being pegged to US dollars, depending upon which country you're bringing the money in, appreciation of the dollar against that, all of these factors come in.
A lot of factors.
Exactly. Excuse me. So if you have made up your mind that how much, when are you going to sell? Either if it hits a certain selling value or a certain time period, this is when you will talk about capital appreciation. Until then, what happens? We don't have clear idea about it, because there's one thing for sure. Once you bought a property, it's going to rent out and it's great 5% rental return. For another 5 years, you have 25%. That's what it is. Rest of all of that is just a bonus. Dubai market is still a very baby market, right? We can't go through in the conversations of cycle. It's just a city that is just started to get populated. There's a lot of people have to come over here.
So we shouldn't be talking about cycles?
Absolutely, yes. But understanding one thing very clearly, that when you talk about cycles, the cycles that we have seen so far are not regular property cycles. The people that we're talking to, we need to understand where are they coming from, and do they really understand what a property cycle is, and then communicate it accordingly. If you're talking about London property cycle being 7 years old, man, that city has existed for centuries, right? And that 7 year or 5 year, people have two versions of it, right? Is based on certain ground where you have the history of past 100 years as well, that certain land or a property, how much was it sold for, la 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 la, and the currency has been so fluctuant or not, like what was the rate of the pound against certain nationalities. All of these things have to be taken in factor. In Dubai, whatever has happened did not happen because of Dubai. It was every time the surrounding environment of it. Global recession came through, whoa, boom, COVID happened. Give me a cause of property cycle that it came down, for example, on that side. Easier, or to go up is easier, but to came down is because of Dubai. Like it devalued, property value depreciated because of Dubai. Give me an instance like this happened because nothing. It was always alien invasions, right? Call it that way. So I don't see a cycle as of today. But hopefully, maybe in 10 years' time, we'll know what the cycle is once we have achieved the population target. Too deep?
No, it's very, very interesting. It needs to be deep. It's not information that you people.
Oh, really? Go on, complete the sentence.
Information that's coming out of you people's mouth cannot be deep enough. You need to go deeper. Like I've not heard it explained this way. I'd like it to. I'd like all of this. What you just said, you just defined that maybe targeting getting into buying property, thinking of capital appreciation, and let's not forget that's how it's being sold. Oh, this percent capital appreciation, and la la la. You're just saying that that's not perhaps a very pragmatic approach.
Absolutely not. That is not something that I would bet my money on. Simple as that. If I'm buying, I am an investor myself. I do the same thing all over again, right? Myself, right? And I would never bet my money on a positive future. Someone very wise told me, Vakan, never bet on a positive future, right? That's the habit of a gambler. If you want to really, there are plenty of ways of making money, right? There are plenty of ways within real estate, the same field that what I'm doing right now over here. And it's just that I need to pick up a way of doing things that is more backed with facts. That's it. Positive future, yes, inshallah khair, man, everything's going to go well, inshallah khair. Of course, yes, we have come so far, we have seen so much with Dubai, right? In past 16 years, as long as I've been working over here and living over here in Dubai, in real estate, man, I've seen so many things, I've heard so much, right? Personally in my life, right, because of all of this whole real estate scene, I have seen so much in my own life, right? The ups and downs and all of that stuff. Man, we have come through a lot. And the future is definitely positive. I have no intentions of leaving this business or the city forever because I have so much faith in it. But for a new investor coming through with their money bag right now, and to tell them to paint a picture as such of positive future that you're going to make so and so capital return on it, come on, man. No. The same way cold calling is out of fashion, right? People,
is it?
Okay, so the same way that they used to do, like, hi sir, ciao, you're buying or selling your property kind of a thing. You don't create leads anymore like that, right? It doesn't work that way. But same way, you can't just be selling it on this basis.
Tell me something about cold calling. Why can't, there's more to there.
Thank you.
Why can't this language be changed? Because if somebody has already interacted with your company in some way or another, I know the actual cold calling is from a list or whatever. But if somebody interacts with your company, whether it's by clicking an ad or somehow they register with your company and somehow their name and number is in your database, then it's not really a cold call. It might be a cold call if you are an agent on day one. That might be a cold call for you. But for that person, they're not being called by your company for the first time.
Yeah.
At some point they've registered. So why can we not, how do agents convert the concept of cold calls into warm calls to make it a bit more warmer.
But there you go. Exactly. You just, just followed my thought on that without me saying it, right? Is that a cold call is a cold
Karachi
call because...
connection.
Karachi connection, yes. A cold call is a cold call because of the caller, the one who's calling the other person, right? So if I am the one calling and if I want to make it a cold call, it's going to be a cold call, right? That's how it is. If I want, I can make it a warm call as well. But the thing is that...
So you're saying just because it's the first ever time you're speaking to a person, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to go in with a cold call mentality? I like that. I like that. Mindset thing.
Exactly.
It's a mindset. I love it. Go on, please.
It's just such a basic level, man. If I have to approach someone, right, for the first time, in a physical environment, not over a phone.
Fucking loving this podcast.
How I'm going to approach? If I go in like, hey, hi, I'd like to talk to you. Like, come on, man. It doesn't work that way. Yeah. So you have to be very wrong the first time you approach someone. Yes. For that, you need mindset training. Yes. You need to have the confidence to understand what it is and how it works. The problem is that, but let's just take a stand. We need to put in the vision of who are we talking about. Like, what is this person who's doing the cold call? Okay, this person has man. I hate to say this, but I'm gonna say it. In Dubai, 90%. It used to be 99%, but now I'm gonna say 90%. Okay, 99% of the people who end up at brokerage firms who have this pattern of or this plan of doing cold calls, right, are those people who have failed in their A priority. Okay, they came here to be XYZ. They couldn't get the right. Perhaps they got the job, right, but the pay was not enough or the circumstances were not good enough for them. And they were like, yeah, but I'm here. I love the place. I want to stay over here. What shall I do? A friend of friends says, why not real estate? Right? Having conversation at a pub somewhere, some guy like me suited up walks in hunting for people right over there. Like, hey, you, what you doing over here?
Plenty of Rolexes and Ferraris on social media.
Exactly, yeah. That kind of, and you just talk to the guy, listen, like, what are you expecting? You want to make money? Okay, fine. Start doing real estate, right? It's super simple. All you have to do is pick up the phone, say hello, right? And there you go. Bang on. 100 million dirham deal has landed. With that concept, but the person may or may not see the value of it, but like, you know what, I don't have anything else to do, but I need some time to stay in this city until I figure it out. I'm running out of money as well. So why not work things out with real estate and see how we go back, okay? Now, some of those...
That's why a lot of people from the aviation industry, when the aviation industry was in trouble post-COVID, during COVID, a lot of people joined real estate.
Yes, they did. And they're still the best candidates, honestly speaking. I know some who joined real estate during that time, and they're doing a fantastic job. By the way, if it matters, like, those guys are very good at administrative sales jobs in real estate companies rather than being sales themselves. Like,
what's administrative sales jobs?
Like, for example, business development kind of a thing, right? Or office managers, marketing managers, for example. Those guys have done a very amazing job, seen it.
They know how to follow rules.
Yeah, they know how to follow rules. They know how to make the...
They usually have 200 souls on board.
They're responsible for it. So, yeah. Coming back to the point, right? So a cold call is made cold because of the person who's calling, and now we understand what kind of person we're talking about, who took a leap of faith. Like, you know what? Yes, let me see if it works. There is no fixed salary for it. All I have to do is make calls and la. This guy is scared, man. Okay. And as a human nature, unless you have telesales experience, you don't know how to converse with people over a phone. This is something very new. Now, the whole idea is that you're approaching someone.
I'm sorry, telesales people don't know how to converse with people.
Okay, yes. Have you ever got a call from an insurance broker, an experienced one, selling you death? I'm talking about life insurance.
Not particularly, but I get the idea. Go on.
Man, these guys are amazing. I'm so impressed. Recently, I had an experience of working with a couple of those people who come from that industry of insurance. Whoa, man, whoa. I'd really want to join the biggest insurance company for a couple of months just to go through the whole cycle to understand how do you sell death, right? And I've seen that people who have been selling death very successfully for
death.
Yeah, selling death, man, right? For a good amount of time. Yeah. These guys are super, super good at selling real estate as well. Amazing. So, cold calling done by a person who has zero experience of selling anything over the phone call. Haven't sold anything such as real estate in their life, maybe their own personal property, but that's the maximum of it. You put them over a phone, they're shitless, man. They're scared. Okay, they're scared. You know why? They're not scared that someone else from the other side is going to say, I'm calling police, I'm complaining about you. No, they say, look, what if they miss the biggest opportunity of their life? Because this is how they were portrayed, that all you have to do is call and money will come, right? So they are afraid that if I don't talk in the most appropriate manner, touch the right buttons,
And if I'm not direct enough.
yeah, if I'm not direct enough, right, I am going to miss out the opportunity of my life. That's what creates the scare. Okay, if you ask someone randomly, pick up the phone, start calling, man, depends upon how you portray the whole opportunity, and people be like, yeah, let's call. What's up, But because it is like that, it is portrayed like that. Therefore, they're cold, and therefore they're scared. Therefore, you have so much phenomena around it that is all gray and black, right? But if you change that whole approach, if you change the mindset, so when I am talking to my brokers, I don't have a brokers as such, but like I was working with Damak for a while now, and when I was training brokers over there, I would very rarely talk about product. I would see the audience, I would walk into a company, I would see, let's say there are 70, 80 brokers sitting, it's a fair mid-sized company, right? And I'm walking, I see like, okay, none of these 70, 80s are closers, right? So I need to create my opportunity, because if they sell, I make money, right? And if I train them for the most best way possible at first, my job gets easier. So I don't have to work with clients who are more exploring and less closing, So I would be like, I would train them. So this is my formula. 5 plays a big number in my life, huh? 5%, remember? No, 5 people. Let's talk about that, okay? So there you go. Anyone who's watching this is going to get free training from me today in terms of understanding the mindset of it. As a real estate broker, the moment you walk in, first of all, you need to understand this is for life, okay? Once you get the hang of it, once you get the taste of the blood, you're not doing anything, okay? You're done. Understand this. So be very mindful before you say, yeah, I want to casually try real estate. Okay.
I don't mind.
No, I don't mind. Once you're in and you start cracking up, you're done. Okay, you're done, especially in the Dubai market. Okay, you're not doing anything else. Burn your degrees, burn your CVs that you made before. Khalas, done. You may go back to what you were doing before, but you're coming back in again. Okay, so it's a full-time job and it requires your life. There are no 5 days, 7 days, 6 days. It requires your life. It requires 365 days. It requires 24 hours a day. Okay. Secondly, how do you really excel in this business is by having these 5 people in your life. Well, who do we have right now? Let's face it. Real estate is all about networking. Your network is your net worth. Okay. Now, who do you have in your life? You have your parents, your wife, your spouse, basically, your friends, your kids, cousins, family, friends, all that stuff. None of them exist. Okay. Let's take an example with your father. Your father is not your father. He is either a seller or a good referral to a seller. He is a buyer or a referral to a buyer. He is a landlord who's renting as a property or a referral to a landlord. Okay. He is a tenant or a referral to a good tenant, or he is an agent or a broker, as you call them, himself, or a referral to a good broker. Start looking at everyone with these 5 categories. And then you call me back again and say like, Waqar, I don't have business. I don't have any leads. Bullshit. Doesn't work that way. You start looking at things from this perspective, never ever you're running out of business. Okay. Now, once you have set this 5 rule over here, now pick your niche. Now we understand the concept of it. Like if I have to make friends, I have to make friends in...
So this is relevant for anything that you do.
Anything.
In life.
Yes,
business.
Absolutely, yes. Whatever your customer are, you need to understand the most successful people are those who grew their network and that network became their net worth. I do business with friends. I am sitting over here because, you know what? I clicked with you. Okay. I like Asad. I want to hang out with him. Yes, of course. And there is an opportunity for it. Why not? I was interviewed last week with 2 gentlemen. They came over to my studio and we talked about, man, I was regretting, like, why did I don't do these things unless they are my friends. I don't do any kind of business or a podcast or anything unless I know that, there is some common ground. So anyways, coming back to the point, 5 people sorted. Now you need to pick up your niche. Real estate is an address. Okay. It's basically a giant Google map that you need to learn. Now, how do you do that? You need to understand that, for example, when you on a rush hour, you open up the Google map and it shows you where's the traffic, where it's going red, yellow, green, whatever, right? And then accordingly, you choose your path, which road you're going to take, which is the most convenient one, right? If there is all traffic, then you choose the traffic that you like to be in, okay? There's no zero traffic on a rush hour kind of thing. So as a broker, you need to understand that this Google map is my market, okay? Or take it that way, the portal, a property classified, open it up, it shows you on a map view that what are the pricing going on in certain areas. Let's take an example of booking.com, okay? Open up booking.com, you see that in Dubai Marina, you can rent a room for a single person at a peak season for as cheap as 1,000 or 800 dirhams. And in the next building, you can get it for 5,000 dirhams. Same area, same everything. You pick your location, okay? Let's say that you want to do in Dubai Marina. You want to do business in Dubai Marina. You start making friends. You start socializing. You start buying your bloody bread. If you are living at the other corner of the city, you move over there, okay? You can't afford it, you get a bed space, okay? You get a mattress in a parking if you have to. You park your car and start living in that car, okay? I know a lot of amazing people who are super bloody rich right now and have a very successful career who started like this, okay? You bloody park your car. You don't have a car, you rent a car, okay? You steal. No, don't steal, okay? You beg, borrow, but don't steal. You do whatever you have to do. You move into that area. If you can't afford food and the only thing you can afford is a biscuit of a dirham, okay? You buy it from that supermarket in that area where you want to work, okay? I'm just painting the worst picture right now, okay? For that anyone who is looking at it could understand, grasp the concept of it. You do that. You move in and then you start socializing with those people, okay? I'm not going to give you a whole step-by-step plan over here, but to give you the idea that this is where you have to go and start growing it. Once you have put yourself in that situation, in that environment, in that society, in that community, with this mindset that everybody is a lead, either themselves or a referral to it, you sort it, man. You sort it. Now, apply the same approach in cold calling. When you pick up the phone, you know this person is either a buyer himself, a seller, tenant, landlord, okay, or a broker. You get brokers on cold callings, right? So either he is that or a referral to one of the goods. So when you know that there is a chance that he may or may not be, but definitely could be a good referral one. For example, this guy turns out to be a tenant. Yeah, there was an old number. Yeah, he was looking for it, but he is a tenant. Man, the worst thing that could happen is that if you talk them nicely and tell them what your situation is, they may end up giving their landlord's number. Correct? Isn't that possible? Right? It's like, hi, sorry, Asad, giving you a quick call. Honestly speaking, I have your number. That means you did a mistake of putting your number somewhere on the internet. Now, do you remember when did you do that? When you made that mistake? Asad be like, yeah, this is a light note to open up. There's plenty of ways of doing it, but I'm just trying to make it easier for someone to understand the concept, right? Asad be like, yeah, I did this mistake almost 2 years ago. How come you still have my number? I said, I'm really sorry, man. I'm just going through the list, and we hired a marketing agency, right? And they gave us these numbers, and you are the 10th person who's saying this. I just want to evaluate the results. I'm very sorry. Tell me what number, how many calls you've already received, because I'm pretty sure you receive at least 10, 20 calls a day. Asad goes like, oh man, you know what? I don't have time to talk about this bullshit right now. But no, Asad, I know, but I really want to, because you want to stop getting these calls, right? Yes. Okay. Let me help you find it out. So give me a couple of answers. Tell me, when did you do it? Do you remember where you did it? Tell me, were you looking for something at that time? Did you buy it? Did you or didn't you? Why didn't you buy it? Going through this conversation of trying to solve his problem, you get the information if he is really a potential lead in any way or not. And the worst case, if he is not, absolutely, he's broke, man. Okay, he's broke, he's whatever. At least he's a driver. Let's just take that example. Like that guy, ask for his manager's number. He's gonna give his manager's number or his boss's number, or whoever is above him. Man, you have a lead right over there. Okay, call, pick up the phone, because your job is to call, right? So rather, instead of calling this list that you have, make real connections in real situations, so that when you call the manager, like just to give you an example, Maqsood, your driver gave me your number. He's gonna listen to you, man. Rather than, hi, you want to sell, buy, rent, or whatever your property. So yeah, without going into further details of it, this is how you should be doing it.
Love it.
Okay, I'm very happy to hear that.
What else? Social media. What's your take? How do you use social media? How do you wish you use social media to create awareness? What do you think you can do better? What are you seeing that's inspiring you? What are you seeing that's making you cringe? Oh, let's not go into what are you seeing that's making you cringe, but at least what inspires you when you're consuming content?
Consuming content. good conversations like these, honestly speaking, I don't know, without having any prejudice to it, like we just sit, talk about the real stuff, get into details, because the market needs it. We need to understand that, let me put it this way. I have been in this advertising business of real estate, let's just say that, right, since fax machines, right? When we had to share listings with other brokers, okay, or send a proposal to a customer, we used to send fax, okay? Most of the people don't even know how to operate a fax machine, though it's very simple, okay? They don't even exist. And along with it, going through Gulf News, property weeklies, you've been long enough to remember those big things that used to come
I've
along
done that.
every day, okay?
2010 to 2013, I was a broker.
Okay. So, you know how Gulf News, then came in the Do Brazil, OLX it was before, right? And OLX, I started advertising it over there. I've done advertisements where, I would go get those big poster, what do you call them? Posters,
Pamphlets?
right?
Or?
Yeah, no, not the big plain paper, like a white color one. The ones you roll, the cardboard. I forgot what you call them. And a friend of mine, I paid 5 dirhams to him to every time write "to let" on it in those bold manners, the outline of it with my number, and put it up outside apartments, right? In those rainy days, during everything was completely upside down, right? And
2004, 5.
I'm not talking about 8,
Okay.
8, 9 kind of era. 9. I came here 2007.
Right, okay.
So from then, the online advertisement for the OLX that turned into Dubizzle later on, and those Google group mails that we used to send out to, right? Then BBM came through, and we were all running on BBM. BBM there for a while, actually, right? And then WhatsApp came through, and then you had portals coming up, right? Portals started growing to what we are right now. Then the Google war started, AdWords and SEOs and, all that stuff. Then social media came through. Social media on a very basic level, just running renders and developer videos. Now we got UGC, okay, user-generated content. That's what the future is as of now. It is so important to understand where is it going. Basically, what's happening is that we're going back to the basics. We're going to one-on-one interactions. It's just the platform has changed. Before, it used to be big buttocks, where divans, you would sit over there and talk and exchange ideas and talk what's going on, right? This is how we used to do it on funerals, on weddings, on birthdays, for example, or just, on karogas. If someone is from Kenya would know what karoga is, right? It's a beautiful culture that's still preserved, right? You go and this is how you used to do it. Social media is exactly the same thing. It's just the platform has changed. Instead of having physical conversation like me and you having it right now, you would do it over a screen. So this content has to be in that length, in that wave, that as if it is a conversation, not sitting and just talking like a robot, for example. So I love that content online right now. That is a conversation, an idea, something that I can agree or disagree with. I can hate or love the concept behind it. This is what I want. So that is what's keeping me entertained when it comes to consumption.
I thought of something really interesting. At least it was interesting to me this morning, that the reason why these are modern times, what makes it modern, is that communication is more accessible. 20 years ago, if we were this age or this experience, whatever, or people who were, their thoughts, their ideas, their ambitions, their intellect, all of that was, unless they were being published in a magazine or they got a chance to be on TV or radio, unless that happened, which doesn't happen to 9.5 out of 10 people, unless that happened, their ideas and their thoughts and their ambitions and their ideals even were confined to maybe their diary that most people don't write, or their head, or that's it. So we were stuck in those times, 20 years ago, even 15 years ago. We were essentially, what did we have to work with? Ideas and thoughts that came out of, ideas and thoughts that developed and revolutionized thinking in the 50s, 60s, 80s, and 90s. Thoughts like fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
Thoughts like, you can't really love someone until you fully love yourself. These are all thoughts that we grew up with because that's all we had to look, a book was published or a famous person
That's
said
for available
something.
to consume. Yeah.
Mark Twain said something, and then wow, Mark Twain said it.
Yeah.
But today, you and I, all of us can share our thoughts in real time, and they're visible. And if people have to, back then people couldn't relate to anything because it wasn't, unless it was on TV or radio, you can't relate to it. Now you can get on the internet, look at your situation, and you'll find 50,000 examples of people going through the same situation. And then you read their thoughts, their challenges, how did they go about resolving those challenges, and you come to your conclusion and you move forward. That is an amazing thing. That's what makes this time that we're living in so amazing. We can move faster, communicate more, and I get distressed by the fact that people are not taking advantage of it. The ability to communicate more and more and more, people are just not taking advantage of it. You see it in your family and friends, and nobody's saying anything. So is it social media's fault, or were they just like that? The reason people don't say anything on social media is because they don't want to be exposed. People know, like, let's say I'm a shitty person. I'm not a good person. So if this isn't being recorded, then you and I are having a chat. I can say like 5 shitty things to you, and then I'll just go. Like, I'll go, and you'll go, and you'll be like, what an asshole. But then you'll reject me, and then go out finding good people that you can connect with. I can get away with all of this. Like, I know I'm an asshole, right? I'm a shitty person. I know it. We meet, my personality comes out, you see it, you're like, fuck this guy, and you go away. But then you forget about me, and then you move on.
Yeah.
But because I know I'm a shitty person, if I put all of that in social media, not just you will get to see it, everybody, and it lives there. So 1 million people can judge me and actually get to know who I actually am. So I'd much rather not. I'm not saying everyone is a shitty person, but I think this is why people don't utilize social media. Because they feel they'll get... That's why I think social media actually makes you a better person. It actually makes your visibility on social media actually makes you a better human being. Because you've already exposed yourself. That's who I am. That's how I talk. Those are my real thoughts.
Yeah, walk the talk now, yeah.
Yeah. So when you meet me in real life, I'd be happy if you say, yeah, it's the same person that I saw 5 videos of last week. Same guy.
Yeah.
That makes you warm up to me. If I am a good person, then that makes you warm up to me more, and then it's a real meaningful relationship.
Continuing on the same topic that you're talking about in terms of, like how things are exposed or expressed on the internet, right? How many videos do we have, like proper, real conversations like these, that are with a real buyer who is an owner now? They'll be like, okay, recently you just bought something, and we're sitting across the table and talking about it.
Yeah.
I don't know of anyone, man. We should absolutely come up with those kind of things.
Say again, give this thought.
What I'm saying is that we don't have communications recorded with a real buyer. A conversation with a real buyer who has completed the whole journey.
How would that be? Like sitting them across the table and talking, or recording a conversation?
No, like this. Sitting, okay, yeah, congratulations, Mr. Buyer, you've become an owner now. Walk me through the journey. What happened? Because it's just fresh right now. You just completed the transaction last week.
Buyers say, no, I don't want to be on camera.
But we need to find those. I need to sell myself in a way that I tell you, like, listen, mate, I am more than happy to help you find your next investment, and help you do whatever the hell you want to do with it. But these are the terms and conditions. A, you pay me X amount of money. B, you have to. This whole thing is going to be recorded, right? So yeah, I actually did it with a tenant of mine that was living in one of the properties that I used to manage. And this guy called me after 4 years. 4 years. Power of social media. I said, power of social media. That although our relationship ended 4 years ago, before 4 years, he was living in a property that I was managing for 2 years. Okay. And I kept on posting on WhatsApp statuses. Yeah. That's my thing. I know that, And that, maybe he didn't watch all of them, okay, but he saw one of them here and there. That what kept me alive in his mind. Why? Because the day he decided he wanted to buy a property, which was an off plan, right? Guess who he messaged? He messaged me. He's like, Waqar, listen, he didn't ask, are you still doing real estate? But he knew it. After 4 years, a lot can change, right? It's a courtesy message you ask, he's still into it. He knew it because he's been constantly seeing me on social media, right? And then he goes like, yeah, I'm thinking about buying an offline property. I have some questions. It would be really nice to have a conversation with you. I'm like, yeah, sure, absolutely. And then he's in the same message, he said, listen, I'm not going to promise you that I'll be buying through you, but I would really appreciate some time with you. My reply to him was that, listen, Mr. Potential, that I don't do non-exclusive clients. If I'm dealing with someone, I am going to be dealing only with I'm dealing with you exclusively, but all you need is 30 minutes of conversation with me, and you wouldn't want anyone else. So come, sit with me, talk to me for 30 minutes, and then the rest of it I'll take care of. And this gentleman comes up, and now I invite everybody to the studio. All the meetings are happening in the studio, regardless. And we're sitting on a table with, not as sexy as this, my setup, but yeah. So we're sitting on a setup like this. So it's very visible. There is a mic, there is a tripod, there's a camera, there are lights, everything is there. And we start talking. And I recorded the whole conversation. It was so nice, man. 45 minutes of conversation, of talking to a person who's been living in Dubai for more or less 6 years. Yeah, comes from Europe, from Poland. And it has a job, lives in JLT. The questions that he had a friend who has already bought an off-plan property, right? Knows the areas, what's going on, understands what is a diva bill, understands what is an ijari, understands how to cancel and how to negotiate with landlords, because he had negotiated with the landlords, right? Early terminations and all that stuff, maintenance problems of the apartment, how to judge if you're buying a ready property, to judge like if this property is in a healthy shape or not, right? All of these things. And even if it's not in a healthy shape, how much would it cost? What are my concerns? How much scared should I be? All of these things. It was such a beautiful conversation with that guy. I'm just waiting for that moment where he is going to turn into a buyer or come across another buyer and record it all over again.
Your point about the 5 people.
Yeah.
He could be a buyer. If not, he's a
referral to one. That's how it is. Simple, straightforward, very sweet. So we need to. One thing I'm looking forward is to do it myself, or see you doing it with someone or anyone at all, having the conversation with a real buyer, real first-time buyer. It would be so amazing to do it.
One way you can get them, one way to eliminate or at least lessen the hurdle of getting them on camera, because most people are like, I won't be on camera, is if they keep watching you being on camera, 5 out of those 10 will say, I want to be on your podcast.
Yeah.
So when they're doing the business with you, when they're having, hey, I want to look like most people who, and that's not just agents, even your consumer, they look at you talking. One of the things that's going on in their head is, I can talk like that. I can talk the way, the confidence and the knowledge with which Waqar is talking. I have that knowledge. Maybe I even have more knowledge about Dubai than he does. I have confidence. I can talk like that. But what's my way in to being seen like that? Hey, Waqar, why can't I be on your podcast?
Exactly.
5 out of 10 people are thinking that. 5 out of 10 of your customers are thinking that because they're watching you. That's why they follow you. They like it. They admire your courage. They admire your fearlessness, that, well, he doesn't have any qualms about appearing on social media as himself, showing up as himself and talking. Maybe I should, like, it inspires them. Yeah. So one way to get these actual real people that you're saying on camera having a podcast is doing it yourself. You've got to lead by example. And people will catch on. Yeah. A lot of people will catch on. But if you're nowhere, and if you call someone, hey, Matt, you bought a property, we just concluded the transfer, amazing. Do you want to give me a testimonial on video? They're not giving you a testimonial on video.
No way they're doing it. No way.
They won't.
Yeah.
Simply won't, because they've not been conditioned to you doing testimonials or you talking or you appearing that way. But if they continue seeing you appear that way, let's say your cycle with a client is 2 months, 2.5 months, or 3 months, there's a good chance they'll follow you on social media, LinkedIn or Instagram. If you're showing up there, they're watching you. And if they're watching you, then at the end of after the transfer is done, after everything's done, when you ask them, hey, you know I love doing videos, why don't you come on a little 10-minute, 15-minute chat with me? They love it.
Yeah.
And not just to talk about the transaction that just happened, but talk about their business.
Yeah.
What are their ambitions?
Yeah. How
what
did
do
you
they
make
do?
money? Yeah.
How did you make money?
Yeah.
How did you get to this point where you just bought a $3.5 million property at the age of 28?
Yeah.
They love to talk because the relationship is already set. The mutual admiration is there. They understand the benefit because they concluded a transaction. So the ground is set. Now you just have to ask. And they've seen you do it, so they know you're capable.
Yeah.
They'd love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, you're right. You are right. We need to come up with these kind of scenarios and situations where we are more comfortable talking about it. Eventually, people will catch on to it.
They will catch on.
Yeah. And honestly speaking, when you look at it from that perspective, that if someone has been watching your videos for so long, they get comfortable with you anyways on the screen. So that means they're even more comfortable, continuing on your thought, right, to sit with you and talk about it as well. So it creates the whole ecosystem. So yeah, everybody should get on that.
If they haven't, during those 3 months, let's say, if they haven't seen you saying dumb shit on Instagram, they will trust you. Then when they sit with you, even if they end up saying dumb shit, you won't show it. They know that now because they've not seen you say dumb shit.
Yeah, true.
Right? That trust develops.
Yeah.
That if I go with, I feel that people say, well, you know what to do, right? I'm not sure what I'm going to say in the podcast, but you'll take care of it. They kind of know that I will take care of it.
Yes,
that
exactly.
I'm not. They kind of, because they've seen me on Instagram, they kind of know that those who, by the way, those who think that I'm not saying dumb shit. I'm sure there are people who think that I'm saying dumb shit, but those who think that I'm not saying dumb shit know that if they sit with me, I'm not going to make. I don't have any agendas. Personal agendas. This Asad guy doesn't appear to have any personal agendas. He doesn't seem to need anything from me. So he's not going to make me look bad. He'll take care of it.
True.
That trust is paramount.
Absolutely yes. We can't build up a relationship and at the same time doing something for the benefit of the community when you have the lack of trust on that level, because there will never be genuine conversations happening then.
One of the pushbacks I've heard to this, get your clients on testimonials or video or chat thing, is, I think it's bullshit, but if it isn't, please do tell me. I'd love to be wrong. One of the pushbacks is, no, my clients are just a little ultra high level. I don't want to reveal because that's not how they function. To me, that's an excuse. Is that true? What do you think? Like, if you were to tell one of your teammates, hey, bring your client, 7 out of 10 will tell you that, no, listen, my clients are a bit, they're a bit high level. I can't bring them on to this thing that's not their scene. What would you say to them?
You know what? This whole idea that I just pitched you dawned upon me while having this conversation with you, when you were provoking the thought of, communicating through channels. Why not people communicating? And one of the point that you said is that it makes so much easier the user experience of it if you hear it from someone else who've already bought those services or bought a property, for example. And you just go and Google it out, YouTube it, and it's like, how was their experience? Oh, this happened. These are challenges. Voila, right? From a real person, okay? A Shyn is built on that whole experience, right? The fast fashion company. So, first of all, I'm going to lead by example, okay? I already have a couple of people in mind that I want to ring up and ask them to come over and sit and talk to me on a podcast, okay? Second, if someone tells me this...
The consumer.
The consumer.
Buyer.
Yeah, a buyer.
Buyer, seller, yeah.
Yeah, buyers, sellers. Buyers I have in my mind, like, which are owners now, right? The clients now. I'm going to call them. I'm going to ask them to come over and sit and talk to me on a podcast. For sure, this is happening. So I'm going to lead by example. Number one. Number two, in response to what you were saying, that's the first thing. Second thing is that, okay, fine. Your first one is like that. Your second one as well. The third one as well. The fourth one as well. All of them are like that. Okay. If all of them are like that, then you need to understand that there should be at least one of them. First of all, the reason that this excuse came up is that because he does not want to lose or expose that source of income, source of client that he had, right? It's super simple, man. Real estate market works on paper, innit? Right? A paper says if a client is exclusive, or a paper says it's non-exclusive. That's how it is. Nobody is going to stop you. Or, for example, if I've seen you living in Burj Plaza or downtown somewhere, right? I'm not going to reach you. I'm like, I've seen this guy on the screen of Wakar's podcast. Let me approach him directly and ask him to give me all these units or take his money. It doesn't work that way, man. And if you have to, if you're so insecure about it that it's going to happen, there's a paper. Title says exclusive agreement or a non-exclusive agreement. Make them sign it. Okay? Tell them that this is the policy, these are the terms and conditions. As a customer, you're coming over, let's sign this that you are only, because you are going to get a lot of, perhaps you may, if there is a concern, you may get a lot of exposure out there, you may get bothered with it. So let me help you solve this problem so that you don't have to deal with 10, 20 people or brokers approaching you. Let's sign this agreement, formal agreement. So every time someone calls you, you don't have to waste your time. Just tell them, call Wakar. Make their life easy. That makes your life easy as well. Simple as that. So if that's what it is. Apart from that, I know there are certain people who don't want to come. The whole reason they're buying a property is that they want to hide who they are, right? So it works. But then come on. It can't be 100% all of them. There are so many finance buyers that you have come across who've been living over here, who wouldn't mind coming up. The first two people in my mind are those people.
So
right?
just like anything in life and anything in business, find those who are.
Yeah.
Find those who want to do it.
Correct.
Not everybody's going to buy your property. Not everybody's going to buy your services. Find the people who will.
Who will?
Because you see the benefit in the service.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, like
Yeah.
5 of your 35 clients don't want to do it. 10 of them don't want to do it. But then keep trying. Get
trying.
the next one.
Exactly, yes. Because understand the benefit, the magnitude of benefit you will get out of that. Imagine, come on, whoever is watching this have bought something online, right? Have bought Amazon or Noon, anything, right? You have bought it. How do you choose which one is good or bad? You look at the number of reviews, okay? How many reviews you have? How many
Watch
3, 4,
YouTube
5
videos.
Exactly, and you go through the comments. You go through the comments. Oh, okay. People had this problem with that. This problem matters to me. This problem does not matter to me. You choose it like that. So imagine that we understand the concept that in real estate, this is what I tell everybody, right? In Dubai real estate, we never sell real estate. We sell ourselves, okay? So that means the same way you go and you compare two cars. When you're buying a car, like option 1 to option 3, you have a list of specification, right? Characteristic of the car. What power, engine, rims, sunroof, da-da-da. So if I'm selling myself, I need to come up with certain characteristics as well. A list of specification that what I come with. And the only way of showing that to people is not through that you're going to make a brochure about yourself, got 2 legs, 2 arms and whatever, right? You're going to express this through your conversations online with people, right? You're going to put them up over there. Maybe not the whole conversations, but the parts that you know will encourage people to choose you, right? And one of those beautiful, easiest way of doing this communication is through what we are doing right now. Exactly where they're watching this video. Come on this platform and do it and nail it. Go all the way. It's going to help you improve your business. And on top of it, you're going to make a community a better place, right? The brokers are not going to be called just brokers or you people, right? They're going to be called respectable people. After all, there's a lot of legacy that people don't understand behind brokers, right? Maybe another day we can talk about it, right? IIH Chandigarh, for example, in Karachi, right? We can talk about that, how come one of the most important roads in Karachi are named after him? So broker is a very respectable profession. It's just that we need mindset training. We need proper etiquettes to be taught. That's it.
I could do this for the next 3 hours.
How far are we in right now anyways?
And an hour, 10 minutes.
Hour and 10 minutes. Okay.
So,
I have time.
but,
Yeah.
as all business people, we have shit to do. And it gives us an incentive to do another one at some point.
Why not? Absolutely, yes.
So this was